Hello. In this video, we are going to be talking about why hypertension is killing Black women, the silent killer, and 3 ways to protect your blood pressure. If this is the first time you're clicking on my pretty face, thank you. I am your favorite nurse, Yogi. I am a registered nurse by trade. I have been a registered nurse for 12 years now. So this hypertension topic is very important to me because I have seen patients across the healthcare realm, if you will, experience high blood pressure and see it turn into things such as stroke, such as losing a limb, such as having a baby prematurely. Like hypertension is something that a lot of people have and they kind of just blow it off because their grandma had it, their mom has it, and they're like, I'll be fine. And as a Black woman, that is so completely wrong. So we gonna get into it, right? So I said I'm a registered nurse with 12 years of clinical experience. I also am a certified yoga instructor. I have been teaching yoga for 5 years. At time of recording this video, it is February 24th, 2026. I became certified as a yoga teacher at the top of 2021. No, I do not have a brick and mortar yoga studio. I teach virtually right here, and I also do pop-up yoga classes, yoga for the community, yoga for business retreats, events, conferences. So if you are in that realm of events or you are a business owner yourself looking to do a retreat, holla at your girl. Now that we have that Rolodex of, also, I have been practicing yoga personally since 2009. So I have been in health and wellness space. Let's bring it back, and I'm going to give you your 3 tips. But the reason I am so passionate about health and wellness is because I've seen it 2 ways as a child. My dad is very, very active, and he always made sure that we were outside because he loved to be outside. And what that entailed was learning how to roller skate, which now I'm realizing people are like, I want to learn how to roller skate. And I'm like, I know how to do that. I know how to roller skate. I know how to rollerblade. I know how to ice skate. I know how to ride a bike, like things that I'm like, duh. Like, I know that's like, no offense, please. But I realize this is what makes me unique in teaching you because it's health and wellness is it's genetically a part of my DNA. It's not trendy. It's not something I found in my 20s in college because I was eating junk food. Like, this is something I've seen with my dad. And so we did all that stuff as a kid. Like, I always make this joke how as a kid, I wanted like the motorized go-kart type of things, like those, you know how you can get like a Hummer, like for the kid and they just like, it's motorized, like they don't have to pedal. My dad never got us that. He got us like the actual go-kart that you had to use your legs. And now as a parent myself, I get it because you want to, I don't know if my dad was thinking like this at the time, but now as a parent, I'm like, I want my kids to be active. It's important because just how people say, I don't want to quote Bible. What do I know about that? But you want to train your child in a well-rounded way, right? And that means making sure that I'm talking about their physical health right now, but making sure that your child knows how to physically take care of themselves with movement. And kids naturally know how to move their body. They know that they need to play. They know they need to jump. They know they need to do these things, and it gets lost along the way with it be parents, right? We're busy. I am a parent. At the time of recording, I have a 6 and a 7-year-old, 6-year-old girl, 7-year-old boy, and I'm busy. We're doing 100 days of YouTube also. And I work a full-time job, recording this on my lunch break. Like, I'm a business owner. Like, I am busy, so I get it, right? And you have to, though, make sure you schedule just how you schedule a doctor appointment. You need to be scheduling your children to do playtime and go outside, those kind of things, because you can't expect your child to just know these things. Yes, they intuitively know they should play and all these things, but like I said, it gets lost along the way because we're so busy, they're on the computers, all this. I'm digressing, but what I'm getting at is dad's been super healthy. He like there's this store locally called Leaves and Roots. It's been around for a really, really long time. They have herbs, teas, anything natural. Like if you're, and it's funny, we're gonna talk about high blood pressure, but if you're like maybe you were on medication and your doctor's like, you're good now, your high blood pressure is good, and now you're just like, I just want to make sure I keep the not having high blood pressure anymore at bay. Maybe you get herbs. Again, I am not a doctor, I am not prescribing anything in this video, but there is a store, I live in the Central Florida area, called Leaves and Roots. It's been around for a very long time, and I remember being a kid going in that store, and as a kid I'd be like, because kids, we're trash, kids, we are trash, okay? And when I say that, I mean like you don't appreciate the things that your parents did. And my dad would go in there, he'd get herbs, he'd get spices, he'd get different types of things. And then once I became a nurse and I started doing my night shifts, and I still lived at home for that little stint before I moved out, he would like make me I think it's guarana powder, which is now in like all these like energy drinks and stuff like that. But he would naturally make me my own energy drink to help me stay awake, because I'm not a night person. So I would drink my guarana, and that stuff looked like dirt and it tastes like dirt. But so I've just known these things for so long, right? And then on the other aspect, my mom, when I was in high school, was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And I remember she had to drive herself to the emergency room because she was feeling like she had chest pain. And thankfully she did, at least to my knowledge, did not have a heart attack, but she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I remember her coming home that next day. She was very overwhelmed. She was crying. There was all the medical equipment on the table. And I remember coming downstairs, seeing her crying, and I felt so helpless. And it was in that moment where I realized I wanted to help people like my mom. And there we go. I became a nurse. That was long-winded. So now let's get into though, and I feel like that's all necessary background for you because I'm not just talking out of my ass. So with that being said, high blood pressure is called the silent killer for a reason, because now we have all of these devices. Like you can wear a watch, you can wear a ring. There's so many ways that you can track your like blood pressure and things like that. But it's still a silent killer because it's not, it is outright at first, right? But what happens is we ignore the symptoms. And what are the symptoms that I'm talking about? You ignore the headaches. You may say like, well, maybe I have a headache because I'm stressed. Yes, you are stressed, but have you checked your blood pressure, right? So, and with Black women, like it's just something that's very, very common. And it shouldn't be that way, right? So we just also, as Black women, have a higher chances of having high blood pressure if it be familial, if it be because of things such as stress, racism, like these things, like we have a lot against us, right? So let's just get into it. What is high blood pressure, right? This should be a separate video in itself, but we're going to trudge along. So a normal, and again, I am not a doctor. I am not prescribing or telling you what to do. I'm giving education. You can then, and I would hope this would then make you be like, okay, let me talk with my doctor. Or, oh, I need to find a primary care provider to have a personalized conversation with. Okay, so a normal blood pressure is typically around 120. So 120 is your top number. And then your bottom number is 80. Elevated high blood pressure is when we are over 120. So typically what that looks like is like if we're getting in the 130s, if we're getting in the 140s, I have seen blood pressures 200 as the top number. That is scary. That is scary. That is concerning. You need to go straight to the emergency room, skip urgent care. The bottom number, if it's high blood pressure, is going to be anything above 80, 90. Sometimes you see people coming in that's 200 over 150. That is really, really bad. And they're just like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Because your body compensates. But what happens is it can only compensate so much until things such as stroke happens. Drooping of the face. Your arms just start feeling numb. Can't even pick up your arm. These are reasons why they say silent killer. So if you are consistently living above, like you're like, yeah, I just normally be staying 135 over 85, you need to go talk with your doctor, right? If your doctor says like, because some people's blood pressure is very, very high. So that's something else too. You cannot drastically bring somebody down because their body has been compensating and is used to being very, very high. So if your doctor may be like, if you do have high blood pressure, they may be like, we want to actually get you to 140 over 80. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to do. But that's why you got to go to your doctor. And that's why you have to make sure you do your follow-up appointments because they will be able to assess where you're at. So let's continue on. Okay, so again, going back to why it's dangerous, why it's called the silent killer. Often, well, I have a script, so I stay on track. So I already told you the reason it's silent killer though is because of things such as stroke. So you might hear stories where it's like 45-year-old man had a stroke, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's so young, right? 40 is young, right? You're like, he's so young. Whole time, homeboy had high blood pressure, right? And he never managed it. So that's why it's called a silent killer, because you just skip high blood pressure, never manage your high blood pressure, and then God forbid you have a stroke. You also can develop heart disease if you are not taking care of your high blood pressure. You also, this is the thing, we don't be talking, it's heart month right now, so I know that's why we're hearing a lot about the heart. But kidney strain, your kidneys. So you got to think about this, right, guys? So if you have really high blood pressure, right, you have to think of this too. Were we talking about this yesterday? I think we were. Yeah. Your heart is a muscle, okay? It goes boom, 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 right? That's the systolic, and the top and the bottom number is what that sound is. The top and the bottom number that makes your blood pressure. Everybody has blood pressure, by the way, okay? Everybody has a blood pressure. It is just determining if you have high blood pressure, a regular, because I don't want to say normal, a regular blood pressure, or a low blood pressure, okay? So with that being said, if you have high blood pressure, because that's what we're focusing on, stay focused, Leslie, the blood is just going to be like, okay, I'm overcompensating. Your body always keeps you safe. Let me say that again. Your body is beautiful and it always keeps you safe. So if it starts to notice over time, okay, well, I guess Johnny, like, we got to really be starting. Come on, body. Let's pump all the blood to their heart because we don't know what's going on, but we got to pump a lot more blood because they're stressed. Your body doesn't really know that though. It's just doing what it's supposed to do to keep you alive. And what will end up happening though is your kidneys are going to start straining because also they're not getting as much blood flow to the organ. So I'm going like this because your kidneys sit in your lower back. So right on top of your butt, in your lower back are your kidneys. I'm a very visual person. So you have one kidney here and you have one kidney here, okay? And you have blood vessels that connect to your kidneys that give your kidneys blood. In blood is oxygenated red blood cells. So if you have high blood pressure and all the blood is really focusing on, we got to keep this heart going. We're working hard, but I guess that's how it is now, right? Think of it too like as running. You're just running so fast with no break, right? So then your kidneys are straining, and then what ends up happening too is you could also go into kidney failure, right? And what that looks like too, I'm not saying you have kidney failure, but really quick, the kidneys help with peeing. They are a part of your genitourinary, I always say that weird, but they're a part of your urinary system. We have multiple systems in our body, and this is actually, wow, fascinating. A little tangent. I am a business owner and I'm learning how to create systems in my business, and I have a business strategist that has helped me with that. And so it's just fascinating how we need systems in business because how God made us, we have systems in our body, right? Okay, so going back to the urinary system, the kidneys are a part of it. They the big dogs, because before the kidneys filter stuff, right? And so if your kidneys stop working, what it will look like is if you're somebody who's like, oh, I only pee once a day. That's not good. Let me drink this water. And you'll be like, I thought we were talking about blood pressure, Leslie. What the heck? Everything is connected in your body. Every single thing is connected in your body. Let's move on. So let's get into the tips. We are halfway through this video and I'm finally giving you the tips. Thank you for being here. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe. At time of recording, I believe I have 956. Let's actually look. I need to stop doing this though so much. I'd be like looking at it every hour. 956 subscribers, y'all. I have 956 subscribers at time of recording. We are on our way to 1,000. And then by the end of the year, we're going to be monetized. Less than 6 months, your girl's going to be monetized. Okay. So with that being said, so subscribe, like, comment. Okay. Tip 1. Get a blood pressure cuff. So I educated you on what does a regular blood pressure, and I'm going to say normal because it's just easier for me to say what a normal blood pressure looks like. But if you do not have a blood pressure cuff, how would you know? I can't have you saying to yourself, well, I need to take off the glasses for a minute. I'm like really getting into this. I can't have you being like, well, I don't have a headache, so like I'm fine. Like, yeah, I did go to the doctor and they said, oh, you need to start looking at paying attention to your blood pressure, right? If they're saying that to you and your doctor is not prescribing medication, because I know a lot of people, and I'm actually kind of rolling my eyes at this lately, if I'm going to be really honest with you, as a registered nurse, a lot of people are like, they just push meds. Okay, what else did doctor, what did the blood work look like? What did your vital signs look like? One of your vital signs that they take is your blood pressure. So if you're saying your doctor is pushing blood medication, show me your lab work. Show me your vital signs. Just show me the paperwork. Because if I see a high blood pressure, I don't need you saying that doctor's pushing medication. The reason they're pushing medication is because they do not want you to stroke out and die. That's it. Okay? So I'm tired. I'm tired of people saying the pushing meds. Not all doctors are pushing meds. There are genuinely doctors out there that want you to be healthy. Okay? And I know okay, so get a blood pressure cuff. So if your doctor's like, I need you to start paying attention, get a blood pressure cuff. You can do home monitoring. And if you're monitoring at home, this changes outcomes. Having knowledge reduces fear. If you are acknowledging like, okay, my blood pressure is high today. Let me my gosh, this is we'll make a separate video on how to check your blood pressure. But I will say this here. When you check your blood pressure, do it first thing in the morning, before you pick up your phone, before you wake up the kids, before you have sex. My gosh, yeah, before you have sex. Because if you're having good sex, that blood pressure gonna be up. It's gonna be up. Or maybe actually sex relaxes you. So no, it shouldn't be up. So that's something else too. If you have sex and then you're like, okay, I feel relaxed and your blood pressure is still high, that's concerning. Okay. So with blood pressure cuffs, if you're like, girl, money's tight, guess what? You can rent a blood pressure cuff at your local library. At time of recording this video, I live in Central Florida, and I have the Orange County Library System, OCLS. That's my public library that I go to. And you can rent a blood pressure cuff for free. All you need is a library card. So there's really no excuses as to why you can't do something. Stop saying you can't afford it. So we talked about that. You need your blood pressure cuff. You do it the same time daily. You do it seated, rested, and make sure your arm is supported. So like I have my arm on the armrest of the chair, something like that. Did I say both feet must be on the floor? And when I mean that, like the soles of your feet are on the floor, you are not crossing your legs, because think about it. You're crossing your legs. That's causing more tension in your body, which will cause your blood pressure to go up. Tip 2, take your medication as prescribed. Didn't I already kind of say this already? even if you feel fine. Because if you have been living with high blood pressure for years, say you've been living with high blood pressure for like maybe even like I've had headaches for 5 years, but I just thought it was because I just became a mom or because I got this new job because your body learns how to just adapt, unfortunately. And so you may think you're fine, right? And so you start popping the medication and you're like, okay, yeah, I feel fine. I'm gonna stop. You're not the doctor. And even if you are a doctor, you need to make sure you're having another doctor prescribe you so you can have other eyes looking at you. I digress. Hypertension is often asymptomatic. Like we already talked about that. And what that means is that goes back to being a silent killer. Hypertension is often asymptomatic. Asymptomatic means no symptoms, okay? There's no headache. It does not mean what? Oh, yeah. So if you're like, I don't have no headache, like that does not mean that your blood pressure is not high. Headache is just a typical symptom, but there could be other things that are going on in your body that's your body saying, hey, I have high blood pressure, or it could not be nothing at all. Like there could be no headache and your blood pressure is through the roof. Headache is a symptom, blurry vision, dizziness, chest pain. But we do not want to wait for these symptoms, y'all. Okay. So you follow up with your doctor. And you just make sure that when you follow up with your doctor and they give you a medication to take, that is a blood pressure medication, you are taking it as they prescribe, right? And ideally, I want you to be taking your blood pressure before you take your medication. And I need you to be writing down your blood pressure and having that conversation with your doctor. Like, I heard this girl, I don't know, some random nurse online say that I should be keeping a blood pressure log. How long do you suggest? And I'm pretty sure they're gonna be like, oh, actually, maybe do it for X amount of time, right? So that's what I want you to start doing, because then what you have is data of yourself, right? So if you had your blood pressure, say it was 180 over 100, 180 over 100, that is high blood pressure, right? So you chart that, you write that down, right? Then you start taking the blood pressure medicine and you start documenting each day. And ideally, you'll see both of those numbers go down, okay? So the third tip is do yoga. Duh, of course I'm gonna say that, right? Because this is how you regulate your nervous system. Here we are again. You have a system in your body called the nervous system. This is a system that you cannot see necessarily. Like even when we show the body, like an anatomically, when you're taking an A&P class and an anatomy and physiology class, you're not going to see it with your eyes, which that's even more fascinating, right? And shows you how God is in everything, because there's just some things you can't, like now they have things like, aura readings and those kind of things. But anyways, so we want to regulate your nervous system by doing yoga. Yoga is not a cure. Yoga is not a cure. Y'all, the mic is all the way down here and I can see the, like if I'm yelling, it goes red. And it's all the way down, like, and down. Okay, so stress raises blood pressure. I mentioned to you already, as Black women, we are stressed the hell out. We are. Racism, political climate. We got a lot of stress. We do. And so I am completely aware of that, right? And that's why I love teaching yoga to Black women, because I know how stressed we are, okay? Chronic stress keeps the nervous system activated. So this is where it goes, where people are like, what do they say? I'm just living in survival mode. That's because you are chronically stressed, and that is not normal. And that is how things such as adrenal fatigue develop and other debilitating diseases. Regulation supports vascular health. By doing things such as breath work, this helps activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So when you're activated, when you're in chronic stress, you're living in your sympathetic nervous system. That's what we call fight or flight. Where you're like, I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna beat it up, And I know people like, I've never been a person like that, so I don't understand. And I think that's what I'm just a naturally calm person. So like me being a yoga teacher, like if you know me personally, like, oh yeah, that makes sense for you. But I know there's people that like, I just see red. I just see red. Like, I'm like, bro, like, I don't get it. You need to do yoga. Come on. So we want to breathe. We want to do there's specific breathing techniques that you can do, which I have a whole playlist where we go into that. Your body listens to your nervous system. So yeah, 5 minutes of breath work. That is yoga. There are different aspects of yoga. You take what you want, okay? Let me say that again. You take what you want from yoga. Another little caveat. I get the question often, is yoga demonic? I made a whole video about that. It's not. But breath work is one aspect of yoga. The physical movement, like the stretches, the headstands that you see people doing, that's another aspect of yoga. Journaling is another aspect. Like there are 7 to 8 limbs of yoga. So I am just talking about breathing right now. That's one limb. And I'm also saying this here, when you practice your breath work, you're doing yoga. All right. A gentle movement, okay? Shoulders soft, jaw unclenched. Like when you're simply sitting at work at your desk, I'm at my work desk, being mindful of your posture, noticing if you're tense, right? And just telling yourself, I'm safe. I'm safe. There's nothing to worry about, right? And let me drop my shoulders out. Let me relax my jaw. Notice how your tone is with yourself. These are ways that you can regulate your nervous system. Regulating your nervous system sounds fancy, but it is actually very simple. It's simple if you are mindful, right? Okay. So we are not just managing the numbers of your blood pressure. We are supporting you, your body. So let's wrap this up because I am actually, damn, I be talking. So I want to know, when is the last time you actually checked your blood pressure? Okay. And I invite you to talk to your doctor, check your numbers, and just take it small, right? So what that means is, and we're going to wrap up. I'm saying that so I know, Leslie, wrap up. What that means is, if all you can do today, because I'm somebody that when I watch videos for things I want to do, I'm like, I have to do everything today. I gotta schedule the appointment, get the blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. No, calm down. I just want you to, if you don't have a doctor, find a provider. If you're like, oh my God, that overwhelms me. If you have a trusted friend in your life or you're a part of some kind of community, ask them. Be like, hey, I'm looking for a doctor because I have a family history of high blood, or you already know you have high blood pressure and maybe something, insurance changes. Do that today. So I close the video with this. Thank you so much for being here. If you watch this whole video through and maybe you don't have high blood pressure, but you know somebody in your life that does, share this video. When people share my videos, I feel like I get double the points on YouTube's algorithm, because then the algorithm is like, oh, this is important because the person actually clicked the share button. Okay? I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening and getting educated. You're doing a great job. Okay, bye.